there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Coleen and this is Lochabay. So today is February 2nd, so happy Groundhog's Day. I did see on the news earlier that the little guy did see a shadow, so that means 6 more weeks of winter, boo. So I'm not sure what that means in your neck of the woods. I'm here in Texas, so I'm really hoping that it really doesn't mean too much, that we'll just keep cruising on with like the kind of weather that we've been having. It's been pretty nice here the last few days. This week was kind of crazy. I didn't get as much done framing wise as I wanted to. I did get some stitching done, but I did spend a couple days. The people behind us, their dogs have been trying to dig under our fence. So I don't know if it's girl dogs trying to get at boy dogs or what that crazy situation is, but I needed to add some fencing along the bottom to make that a non-problem. So that took up a little bit of my time. And then I did delay taping for a day just because the tracking said that my parts from the UK for my machine were gonna be delivered yesterday. And they came through, I got my parts, so I was super excited. Held my breath a little as I got everything taken apart and put back together with everything where it should be. And calibrated it, and I went to hit the pedal to make it work and nothing happened. I was like, oh no. But it was a user error. I forgot to turn the air on. So once I did that, it's running like a champ, so I'm super excited to be back up and running there. Just a relief that it's not anything more than what I thought it was. So that was a good thing. So today I'm just going to show, I still have some things that probably should have gotten done that didn't, and got some fun things done to show. So I'll start with today. I got 3 things framed. Nothing super exciting, but they're framed so I can put up on the wall. Just regular frames, but we'll start with this poor little guy has been in the finish pile since 1997. And when you see how little it is, you're going to laugh because you're like, what have you been waiting for? But so this was from Homespun Elegance, and it was Noah, but just put like a little rustic frame on it. I didn't want anything too big because I have a whole wall of like Noah's Arks that it'll go on. But yes, it's very sad that this stayed in a pile for a really long time. But it's out. It's going to see the light of the day for years now. So I'm excited to show that one. So that's piece number 1. And then the second thing I did get framed was Jeanette Douglas's Aloha Hawaii, which is a exclusive kit from Fiddlesticks out in Honolulu. So you can always order that pattern and kit from there. But this is how it came out framed. So if you can kind of see, it's brown wood, but it has like rubbed teal paint like all around the edges. So I'm excited too. That kind of commemorates our time. We lived in Hawaii for about 5 years. So that's just to commemorate our time that we spent in Hawaii, and I miss all my friends there. But this one I finished in 2018, so that wasn't too bad. Only waited a couple years to get framed. So all these things are going to come to the light of day this year, I'm hoping, to get that closet of finishes a little more emptied out, because it's sad that some of that stuff stayed in there that long. And then the final one is from Kathy Barrick, Noah's Ark. And this is the one that I put the really big chunky frame on the cross stitch. The cross stitch is only about 3 by 5. And then the frame, I'm not sure the exact outside dimensions, but it's like about a 4-inch wide frame. But this is my $6 find from Hobby Lobby that I cut down. So I'm super excited. I have a place for this one to go. So I'm excited to have that one all done and ready to put up. So that's that. And then I'll show this one. This one should have gotten done. So this is my fail this week. So I'm kind of sad about this, but I'll show you how far I've gotten it. And this is just to show you two things in stages. So this was the frame that I made for Lizzie Kate's 2010 Snowman. So I'll show you how it's looking so far. And this is the tiny paper mache beaded edge that I showed a couple times ago, I think, that I made versus using wood. And I really like how this looks on here. It's not even perfectly straight, but that kind of adds to like the character of it. So at first I wasn't sure if that was going to bother me, but I like it. And like this frame still needs to get roughed up, and then it's going to be a frame that stands up, so this will go on the bottom. And then a little bird is in the like middle of being carved, but not far enough to show today. So by the next time I film, and I think I will again before the end of the week, because I have some things like 3/4 of the way done, I'll show that finished. So it's getting there, almost this week, but not quite. And then the other thing I pulled out of my pile of stuff, this is a cross stitch I finished in 2011, and I believe it was a little kit, and I tried to look online, but I couldn't find it, and the pattern's long gone. But it's Hope from Bent Creek. So that's what the pattern looks like. And I added just whatever embellishments that I had on hand versus using what was on the original pattern that I can't even find. But I'm going to, so I bought a box. So I bought this box at Hobby Lobby. It was just a little wooden box. And I started painting it, but this isn't exactly the right shade. So I'm going to repaint this and then paint white over it and make it really rustic so that the blue shows through the white. But I'm going to add a frame on top for the cross stitch to sit in. So I'm going to kind of like spiffy it up, I guess. And then I want to do some hand lettering around the edges of the box. Maybe to like echo the words that are on the cross stitch, like family, comfort, health, peace, whatever. But that's the plan for that. So I saw the box and they had all their wood 40% off. So this was actually only $7 minus 40% off, so super cheap, but just to do something different versus just a regular frame. So that's what will go on that eventually. So that's another thing to add to my pile of things to do. As far as stitching this week, I finished, so I think it was last time I said that I had decided to go back to like my 2015 challenge and try to finish one smaller cross stitch every week in addition to whatever else I got going. I don't know if that was like the smartest thing to do or not, but I said I'm gonna do it. So I did sit down this week and write up a rotation for what I'm going to have as far as works in progress, pulling out UFOs that need to get finished in there, and then also like a framing rotation, and then my one a week. And so I started late. So I decided like the third week of January that I was going to do this. So I already started out behind the curve, but I'm slowly making up for time. So the first two on the list, so these count for the first week of January and the second week of January, I did Mosey and Me, Mr. and Mrs. Blue Monster. So that's how these came out. So cute. I can't wait to frame these. And I did add some extra buttons on Mrs. Monster just so that she looked like him. And so otherwise I just stitched them for whatever it called for. And so I want to do something really super like fun with that frame, but I'm not quite sure exactly what yet. Then I finished Heart and Hands Boom Boom Snowman. So this is how he came out. And he doesn't have his buttons on yet because I had laid them as I was stitching on the edge of the end table, which I didn't think anything about until the puppy jumped up there and his big old paws like hit the pile of buttons. Well, they didn't go on the floor, but they went in the couch, and that's even worse because now they're like down in, you know, like those depths of the couch where no one dares to go, where there's probably like old French fries, like $40 worth of change. Who knows what down there? Yeah, that's where my buttons are right now. And I did find one on the floor, but so he still needs to add his buttons. But I think I'm gonna change it up a little and put a little pom-pom on top of his hat, just because I think that would look really cute. And who knows? I'm not sure what else yet. I have a super cute idea to frame him up, and then also do something with some hand lettering. So that'll be the plan for this one. And it did come up, I wasn't even paying attention. You know, like how when you look at the card, the pattern, it doesn't look that big, but I did this on 28 count. It's like a denim over dyed, and I'm not sure which company this is because it came out of my stash and it's so old. So I really don't know, but it is something that it was purchased. And so he came out a little bigger than I thought he was going to, but that's totally okay. Like I didn't have a plan for him, but I do have a plan for him framing wise. So this one I'll be super excited to show what it's going to look like when it's all done. And so that's pretty much the only thing that I got finished this week. And stitching, or this past week. And I did work a little bit more on my Christmas sampler from Owl Forest, but not really anything. If I showed that, it would look like obvious what what my progress was. So I'll wait until next week to show. Like I said, hopefully it will be off those first 2 pages and I can start mapping out the rest. But what I did do this week was I sat down and wrote out my rotation for all my stuff. So this is everything kitted up that is on this piece of paper. So it's all nicely organized. Like all the threads are there, and there's a couple that are like crossed, so I have to dig back into like each other's box, but they're all there. So I went up to, I'm lucky to have a local needlework shop. So whenever I'm feeling the urge, I can just drive over there and get what I need. So, and luckily they had all of the overdyed threads that I needed. So very excited about that. So as far as my works in progress, I'm going to keep, right now I have 4. So I'm going to continue working on that New Year's sampler with the Russian alphabet from Owl Forest. I'm going to keep working on my Pretty Little Produce from Fuzzy Fox Designs. I'm going to work on Spooky Countdown from the Primitive Hare. And then I'm going to work on, I got to finish the Joyful World. So I have 6 more months left on Joyful World to finish up. But I think on that one I'm going to switch it up. And I'm going to cut all the pieces and go ahead and just stitch all of the borders at one time. So, because to me that's just like the part that takes the longest. I like to get to the fun stuff in the middle. So if I knock that out, then I think everything will go a little faster. So that's the plan for that. And then for right now, I can't bear to bring out more than 2 UFOs out of the UFO box because it's just too sad. So the 2 UFOs that I chose, I promised myself that I was going to get that Noah's Ark from Susan Wiggett finished. So that is on the definite in the rotation. And then I pulled Bowleggy because he's already like a third of the way done. So that one will make me feel good when I can get that done quick and knock him out. And then it'll just be a matter of sewing up the pillows. But I might give those to somebody to sew. And I'll just stuff a pillow in them. So that way it takes that off my plate. And then I won't share it today, but I am going to set up a framing rotation so that I'm not trying to get like 2 and 3 done a week. Like 1 and 2 a week is fine. That way, because I kind of figured out this week, like when regular life takes over, you might think, oh, tonight I'm going to do this. And by the end of the day, like the days suck the life out of you and you're like, it's not happening. So, and then as far as my 1 a week schedule, so I've technically gotten three done. So I count the 2 monsters plus Boom Boom. So the next one I pulled out to stitch. Some of this has been in my stash a long time. So I just went through my binders to find smaller cross stitches of stuff that I have. And I will share, I did order a couple things. But the next one up is made in the USA. I think it was a Bent Creek zipper kit. So that one's next. And then also from Bent Creek, I have the Smiling Back Jack. So those both should be pretty quick stitches. So that will almost catch me up if I can get those done like pretty quick. And then another one I pulled out was Mary, Texas from Redbird Designs. That's pretty small. That one I should be able to get done in like a night or 2. And then that fabric that I showed a couple of times ago from Hobby Lobby, it was the gingham material from Zweigart. I think I'm going to try, since it was super cheap, I'm going to try and dye it to make it more mottled. And I'm going to stitch the his and her Thanksgiving stockings from Plum Street Samplers on those. But I'm only going to count those as 1. I could cheat if that technically counts as 2, right? But I'm not. I'm going to only count it as 1. And then I had in my stash Ready Set Snow from Hands On Design. Big fan of their patterns. I've done a lot of theirs. And then I pulled that one out specifically because I did do some stash shopping this week. I'm not going to lie. So I ordered First Frost soup. I thought they were really, really cute. And so I ordered those patterns, and I already had some fabric to that I want to use for that. And then I did get on Spoonflower to order some finishing fabric, because I looked for the one that was on their website, but I couldn't find it. Everywhere it was out of stock. So I went over to Spoonflower, and that designer name, she has her own like other kinds of fabric patterns or whatever. So I just found I ordered a couple samples to see maybe what would work. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm super excited to start those because they look really, really cute when they're finished. And I have a cute idea of how I want to display them, or like make what I want to make them into. So that will be that. And so my other stash stitching that I did this week, so I don't know if you can see behind me, it's over there. It's Glendon Place's Come Sit a Spell, and it's the witch. And so I ordered Vinny the Vampire. So I got that in the mail. So I also ordered some overdyed fabric from Etsy. So when that comes, I'll show it all together what it's going to look like. But I did stop over at the needlework shop, and I picked up, I wasn't sure what they used for the moon, but I want the moon to mat. So I'm just going to use the same floss that, it's DMC 4060. The floss that I used for the moon in Come Sit a Spell, so that they can be friends. So that was my first stash that came this week. And then the next one, I'm not sure when I'm going to have time to do this, but I love, love, love this pattern. It's from Barbara Anna Designs. It's All Creatures, it's hard to see, All Creatures Great and Small. So love this pattern. Everything about it. That border looks like it's going to take a long time. So sometimes borders tend to disappear when I stitch things, but it adds so much to the pattern. But every time I look at that, I want to start it right now, but it's not on the list right now. And then I think I talked about last time, I stitched the big Advent from Jardin Priv. And so I ordered from them, it's a PDF pattern, but it's their Christmas. I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of really resembles that one. So I'll probably do it on the same fabric. I'm pretty sure I have enough fabric left over from on the top of it. Even though that was really hard to stitch on, it's so pretty when it's done. So I'll use the same so that they can hang together. And that way I will try to find frames that match them so they can be a set. And then the next two things that I picked out that I want to add to the rotation, so that will give me incentive to knock a couple things off my list. So I went through my stash and picked out a couple arcs that I've been dying to stitch that I just haven't gotten around to. So the next one that will get put into rotation is Noah's Garden Sampler from Just Nan. And I've done two of Just Nan's other arc, Noah's Needle and Noah's Ark Reborn, I believe it was called. So this will be the third art from her that I've done. I'm not sure if she has any more. I haven't looked at her stuff lately. And then I pulled this one out. It was from a French designer. It's just called Noah's Ark, and I'm not going to attempt the name of the designer, but I'll put the information below. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just kind of a really interesting looking Noah's Ark. So that one will go into the rotation at some point once I get everything else like finished. And then the other stash that I ordered that is still has to come is, there is a designer, and I'm going to have to list it below because just right now I'm blanking, but it's Scottish symbols. My husband is Scottish, and so I thought that would be really cool to stitch and frame for his office. And it's like, I think there's like 4 or 5 different quilt square kind of pattern, cross-stitch patterns. So I inquired to order a set of those. So those will be coming soon too. So I better start stitching fast so that I can get that into the rotation. But alas, the closet is filled with UFOs. I have binders of patterns that are patiently awaiting stitching, just like all of us, right? But that's the fun in it. Just seeing what you can get done and dreaming and hoping that one day you'll be able to get to those, right? And the only other thing that I'm going to share is, and I don't know if anybody else has this problem. I'm sure if you're a stitcher, you do. But I would have to say that my most dreaded part of finishing a project is, like, when you start a new one, sometimes for me it's hard to get going because you barely have anything done. You only see like 4 or 5 stitches. But once I get going, then the momentum builds like to keep stitching. But it's kind of anticlimactic for me. Like, I love having it finished and I can just sit and stare at it and be like, oh, it's done, before it bakes in the closet for like 10 years waiting to get framed. But other than that, is when you're all done and you have all the flosses that you pulled from, and these aren't the only 2 bags that I have like this right now. Like, I hate putting the flosses back. And so I always end up going and like digging through this bag. You'd be like so ashamed if you saw how many of these bags that I still need to like sort them out and put them back. I use those jammer boxes, the 2-sided boxes. Most of my flosses wound, but I think I'm going to be changing. I'm not going to wind my over-dyed flosses anymore. I think I'm going to leave them on the cards and just hang them up. 1, because they're pretty to look at, and 2, it's just such a mess. I have a mess right now with my over-dyed flosses, so I need to fix that. But yes, so if anybody has a solution, or if there's a floss fairy that comes and puts these away for you, like in the nighttime, I will give her my address and she can come over, because that's the part I hate the most. So I'm not sure if anybody else has that problem, but I definitely do. But other than that, that's about all I have today. So this week coming up, like I said, I'm going to try and get the Lizzie Kate frame completely finished. I have a couple things that I do need to mail out at the post office. But later this week, I have 2 projects going, and then I'll share a before and after. So here in my office, I bought a stencil online from Etsy, and I tested it in the corner, and I think I'm going to love it. Instead of just painting like a whole accent wall a solid color, I decided to buy a stencil, like just to add some like visual texture to the wall, and I think I'm gonna really like it. But it's gonna take a while. It's not something that you can do really fast. You need to take your time when you do it just to make it look good. So that's one project that I've added to my to-do list. And then the other one is, I think I've mentioned before, about 3 months ago, we just moved into this house. It's a relatively new house, but we decided to take out the carpet just simply because the people here before had animals, and we have an animal, so I just didn't want him peeing on carpets or whatever. So we're just going to pull out the carpets, and we ordered wood floor. So that's been patiently waiting and acclimating in our hallway for the last couple weeks. So it's ready to go. And we're probably going to start laying that. So that's going to take up a lot of my time, because I haven't figured out how to lay wood floor and cross stitch at the same time. I wish I could though. But and that's probably about it. That's probably enough. And then so the next time I tape, I'm probably going to do a giveaway for Valentine's Day. And I've got a few other exciting things to share too at that time. But so that'll be open to anybody that has the ability to comment. So I'm pretty sure you have to be a subscriber to comment. So if you are able to leave a comment on the next video that I put up, not this one, but the next one, then you'll be eligible to win the giveaway. So that'll just something to do for fun for Valentine's Day. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, it's always fun to see new people joining in every day. And I will see you next week, probably about the same time, and we'll do a giveaway. And until then, happy stitching. Bye.